pilots that struggle to scale up. And one of the key challenges that a lot of cities face is to build public support, public trust for the project. I think there was someone in the chat itself, I was listening to that, reading that conversation, where she asked about, how to build, he or she asked about how to build awareness. And that is the key challenge that I thought I could focus on today in this presentation, communicating for change. So what is effective communication, just to summarize, is about telling the right message to the right people at the right time. And through this is the idea is to build support for the project and ensure thereby the success of the project by gaining people's trust. And I'll explain this and break this down through an example, something that Ashwati also touched upon, and I'll go a little deep dive into the robust communication strategy that went into this amazing transformation that Chennai had gone through. So just a quick introduction or to give context, the Chennai Pedestrian Plaza was a commercial hub that looked like this. And through years of engagement with different stakeholders, with the people, it transformed into a pedestrian haven. Chennai got its own New York Times Square, if you would. And this project was backed by a robust communication strategy that I'd like to share with all of you. So like I mentioned, what is communicating the right message to the right people at the right time? What is the right time? Most different projects have different phases, and every phase of a project, there are different goals. So in the initial phases, you have multiple stakeholders who are attached to their vision of the status quo, which is what we're disrupting through our projects that we're discussing here. In the implementation phase is to sustain that support that you build in the first phase and get them to support you even through the discomfort of construction. And finally, there's phase 3, which is to get people to own the project after it's launched and use it the way it is and follow the new rules that come with it. And that's broadly what the 3 phases of a project are. And in this example, we talk about little about the first phase, which is about getting multiple stakeholders on different pages on the same, aligned to the same vision. All of us are work on urban projects, and urban projects, as we all know, have multiple stakeholders, even within the institution and outside. The different stakeholders, different city officials, leaders, and ministers who have to come together. And even outside, there are RWAs. The conversation on the chat was about how livelihood cyclists versus recreational cyclists. So there are all different people involved in forming that dialogue in the story. And in communications, it's important to identify the key stakeholders in the project and who you'd want to target, because it's always about who you want to talk to. That's understanding the audience, and identifying the audience first is the first step. So for this project, in that phase was the shopkeepers, traffic police, and media. They were the key stakeholders. It being a commercial hub, shopkeepers had a voice and a very strong one there as well. And the traffic police are a part of, since it's a street redesign, the traffic police form a very, very important stakeholder, strong presence in these projects. And of course, the media, which is kind of dictating the dialogue. And finally, coming down to communicating the right message, it requires an exercise in empathy. So it's important to sort of understand where people are coming from and understand their motivations and grievances. And what the city effectively does is try to answer these 3 questions, which is what might their concerns be with the project itself? How might they benefit if the project was actually seen, if the project actually takes shape? And what is the action that we seek from them? And through this, it helps kind of think of a very robust communication strategy, also different sensitive communications that you can do to engage more people. So just quickly, what you see on screen is how we answered the questions for each of the different stakeholders. And you can see, I just go quickly through one, but you can see the rest, which is, shopkeepers' key concern was that traffic restrictions would reduce customers and would reduce footfall, and they would lose convenient parking. But how they could benefit was that wider footpath, we know, attract more people, and thereby is good for business and the support and their understanding of this concept that we seek. So the city kind of broke it down into answering all these questions for them. And that's what resulted in all the intensive communication work that spanned months. organize focus group discussions to, give people a place to voice their concern, but also the city to kind of explain the vision for the project. Then also leveraging print and digital media to sort of be champions for creating the landmark and the buzz around the project itself, and trial runs where the people and shopkeepers could visualize firsthand, even if it's for a temporary means, to visualize firsthand what the transformation could do for that area itself and how it could actually benefit them more. And what it resulted in is a city that's clogged with traffic and parking transformed temporarily into this through the trial runs. And finally, today, the pedestrian haven it was. It was definitely an attraction before COVID, but even during COVID, where it became like a public space where people would want to get out of their homes, bring their children, found it safe to like walk, or even for recreations, or even for a minute. It became that public space that people needed in that in those tough times. What it also showed that it got shopkeepers to support the project because they saw firsthand how much people could attract. In the absence of bottlenecks won over the traffic police. Print and radio understood what the city was trying to do by giving a landmark like this, or reviving a landmark like this for the city, and it maintained that constant buzz that project needed through the years. And finally, it's not only about informing, but it's also about getting feedback itself. So the project also evolved through these designs over time, and that's what communications can do, is to start that dialogue and help cities also develop designs that benefit people in the long run. And yeah, so that's what effective communications can do. It can help understand user needs, understand where people are coming from. It can create a community of champions and believers, which is important because we all want to feel like we're a part of the change. And it also helps amplify those voices. It's often the naysayers that are heard louder than the others, but it's through effective communication that you can amplify the voices of the believers. And that's all all of us want to be. We want to be part of the change, and that's what communications can create. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yes, I cynically couldn't agree more with you in the sense that popular media likes the no story much better than the yes stories, but it's always a challenge, I think, for all of us on how do we kind of massage the other side.